Actually, right now I'm guiding a group of about 15 or 16 women through a book club slash women's circle. We meet every 2 weeks and we discuss this book that we're reading. The book is by Mama Gina is her name. The book is called Pussy, A Reclamation. And it talks all about, yeah, it sounds funny, and that's part of it too, right? It's like people have this aversion to the word pussy, right? And
No, it's not.
actually,
It's not that, Leah. Half my audience are based in the Middle East and are very traditional. So
yeah, well,
I'm just imagining.
totally cool.
I'm just
I'm an
imagining some
untraditional.
middle-aged Arab ladies going, "Oh my."
Well, and this is part of it, right? And so when we think about this, we get to think about, and this is what I saw come up this week. We get to think about how has culture and society actually influenced the way that we think about our bodies, the way that we think about our genitals, the way that we think about like how we treat ourselves, and especially for women. Like we've learned so much through culture and through society that, again, especially for women, that we shouldn't be outspoken, that we shouldn't be super powerful and stand in our power, that we should kind of like sit back. Or like a couple of things that came up this week for the ladies is like being super mindful of like how they carry themselves in their bodies, and like being mindful of like how a man looks at them, or being super weary of connecting with a man because they think that the intention is always going to be, maybe a sexual intention or something that doesn't actually support them in a way that makes them feel safe. And so, especially for women, I'm seeing so often that we're down regulating our power. We're downplaying our power. We're holding back our voice. We're not speaking and communicating the things that we actually want to say, that we actually want to feel, because we are fearful of how the people around us are going to react and respond. And that's a lot of what I see in most people that I work with, is like they hold themselves back. They're not allowing themselves to step into their power. They're not allowing their authenticity to show because they're afraid of what someone might think. And they're told that that's not how a lady should act. And so if someone is listening to this and they are triggered by the word pussy, it's like, why? And I know, like, even regardless, like culturally, what has culture taught you? Because let me tell you what, every woman has the ability to birth a child. And like your private parts, your pussy is literally a magical portal that allows life to be birthed through you. It's incredible. And the shame that we hold around it, like it's mind-blowing. And that is where our power comes from. And when a woman stands in her power, she actually allows a man to stand more in his power. And that's something that we're, I think, starting to come into in society, is recognizing that like the masculine and the feminine balance is so important so that we can be our most expressive, most authentic, most powerful, most impactful selves as human beings. So yeah, a little bit of a tangent there, but you asked me what I'm seeing right now in my
Listen, I'm
community.
enjoying this tangent. Please continue. But yeah, like you said the balance of the feminine and the masculine. Do you mean the balance within a person, or do you
Yes,
mean like one person being feminine, one person being masculine?
it's
Because
both.
a lot of the times these days we're hearing like there's no like balance with femininity or masculinity. It's just neutral, gone, fluid, like it not structured, basically.
Well, it's both. Every person has, regardless of what gender you identify with, every person has both the masculine and the feminine energies and essences within them, right? The masculine is the structure, it's the doing, it's the planning, it's the container. And the feminine is the nurturing, the soft, the loving, the flow, right? The ability to connect with the emotional self. And to find balance within yourself as an individual, you get to learn how to be with both of those, how to allow the masculine presence and the feminine presence to do this dance with each other. And that's part of the balance. They support each other, right? And also then once you're doing that within yourself, you then get to do that within two different individuals, right? And so as you start to dive deeper into your inner work and learn both of these energies, learn about them and work with them within yourself, when you now start to interact with someone else who's doing the same thing within their masculine and feminine energies, you actually get to connect in a more balanced and a healthier way because you're being with the structure and the doing, and you're also being able to be with the nurturing and the softness and the emotional self. And right, it's like the feminine and essence is to like to sit back and receive, and the masculine essence is to move forwards and to dive in and to do the things. And you think about if you're too much in your masculine, chances are you're going to burn out. You're going to get fatigued. You might end up with mental health challenges because you're trying to do too much. And then if you're in the opposite spectrum where you're too much in the feminine, right, you might not actually get anything done and accomplish anything because you're just sitting back and receiving and just in this like flowy emotional self all day long. And
Mm.
yeah, it's
You're
good to,
just letting everything happen to you,
yeah.
and you're not
And
talking back.
you need the balance of both.
Mm. So that's what you do within your community. You get a lot of women coming in, mentally, physically. I don't know how you would put it. Would you say like they're kind of just going with the flow, even if it's a pretty negative flow? Like they're ignoring what their body is telling them, or they're not realizing mentally they need to stick up for themselves and stop letting people talk down to them. And then you kind of work with them to make sure like those things get resolved. Because I gotta tell you, Leah, me, I'm not a woman, obviously, clearly. So I cannot pretend to understand what they go through, but I can see what I observe. And I feel it's sad that in this day and age, I see a lot of girls. I mean, I have sisters, I have my mother, I have my baby cousins who are girls. I don't want any negative thing to happen to them. But I'm always seeing how, like, a lot of girls these days, they're just taking it. They're taking the bullshit, you know? Like, yeah, I read the study how, like, a lot of women won't even report a heart attack
Mhm.
because it's like, oh, no, I don't want to inconvenience anybody. It's like, dude, you just had a fucking heart attack.
Sexual assault, heart attack, like
Yeah,
so many things.
and I've even in university, like I noticed like a lot of girls like who are my friends, they'll be like, "This guy did this to me." It's like, dude, that's rape.
Yeah,
Talk
like
to someone. And then they're like, "No, no, no, I don't want to get that person in trouble." It's like, are you kidding me?
mhm,
Why is it maybe it's not a woman thing, maybe it's a generational thing, but why is it that a lot of ladies are keeping it inside? Why do they feel like they are burdening people by actually like pursuing what is better for them health wise, mental wise? Like, why? It's very selfless, but like, dude, be a little selfish.
mhm.
I want to ask you that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different reasons for that, and it totally depends on each person, right? Everyone has an individual experience. You know, if we look back at culture and we look back at generations past, for a while, women were just giving all of the power to the men, to the masculine. And, you know, you think back even further, it's like for many centuries, women have had their power taken away from them. And, you know, women used to be beat all the time. You know, we have like this witches, like the Salem witch trials, like women were literally burned at the stake for dropping into their intuition, like using their magical powers, like actually like like giving their medicine and using their freedom of speech. And vocalizing like what's happening and what they're seeing and what they're feeling and what they're experiencing. And you know, you think about like your mother, your grandmother, your great great grandmother, thinking about how they lived and what their life experience was like. Oftentimes, you know, they may not have been in the most emotionally supportive relationship, but the man was the one that worked and supported the family. And so the woman just decided to sit back and just like, okay, I'm going to take care of the kids and like whatever, not really worry about this. Right.
Mhm.
And so when it comes to looking at what's coming up for you as an individual, it's really important to look at the generations past, specifically the three generations before you, but also like your lineage. If you know further back, that's really important to look at as well.